Asperger's wasn't in the DSM until the early 90s. Most of the adults that are over the age of 30 or so weren't diagnosed with Asperger's as children, and many of them don't know that they're on the spectrum at all. Now, more and more are figuring it out, and with the new knowledge that autism, of course, has a genetic component, and that many children with autism also have parents with autism, is really increasing the number of diagnoses in adults as well. But one of the unfortunate things that happens is a lot of these adults, because they weren't diagnosed when they were young, they come to hear that they might have autism as older adults and they don't believe it. And if you look at it from their perspective, they don't have any reason to believe it. A person with autism doesn't know about the theory of mind skills that neurotypical people are using and isn't aware that there's this whole world of understanding of other people's intentions and emotions and reciprocal facial gestures, etc., that's going on outside of their awareness. These adults with intelligent, high-functioning autism have gotten along in the world using their compensatory strategies. They're capable, they know what's happening, and when someone comes along and says, you know what, I think that you might have ASD, these adults aren't ready necessarily to accept it. And in fact, it can even feel insulting and rude. And one of the great things about the autism awareness movement is that it is making it more and more possible for adults with high-functioning autism to accept their diagnosis. In general, when adults are accepting their diagnoses, they are able to get resources and help that they need and support that they need, and support from the ASD community as well, which turns out to be fantastic for everyone. But still, it is good to keep in mind there are a lot of people with intelligent high-functioning autism who don't have those diagnoses and who aren't going to accept that they have diagnoses, even if, I guess I should say, even if they go get one. But, ASD in adults is really hard to diagnose because of the compensatory strategies. And adults who may have ASD may not want a diagnosis of ASD, and they can affect whether or not they're going to receive a diagnosis by the way they respond during the diagnostic procedures. And in addition to that, in order to get diagnosed with ASD as an adult, a high-functioning adult, it's important to talk honestly about your childhood and what your childhood experiences were like, because what happened in childhood, or because ASD is most easy to recognize during childhood. So when an adult with high-functioning autism is going in for a diagnosis, they need to be honest about what happened during childhood in order to really get that diagnosis. Again, so what this leaves us in is a situation where there are a lot of adults with intelligent, high-functioning autism in our communities who aren't diagnosed now, who may not ever get diagnosed. Yet, at the same time, it's not as if a diagnosis or autism really exists or doesn't exist based on whether or not someone's been given an official diagnosis. I mean, if a person has autism, regardless of whether or not that diagnosis has been officially given, the neurological structure and use of the brain is still the same. So what that means is we have a lot of people around us who aren't diagnosed who do have autism. And there are a lot of neurodiverse ASD relationships where mixed neurological communication is going on. And one of the partners is most likely on the spectrum, although we can't say that they are for sure on the spectrum because there's no diagnosis. But one of the partners is most likely on the spectrum and is undiagnosed. So for all of you therapists, etc., who are out there, this means that you might have people coming into your practice who are in neurodiverse ASD marriages and are facing mixed neurological communication issues. And one of the partners is on the autism spectrum but isn't going to get diagnosed. And what do you do in that situation? What should the neurotypical partner do? Can we call the partner who has autism autistic if there's no diagnosis? No, not really. But does that change anything in the practical, everyday handling of the case? These are issues that are going on within autism right now. Hopefully we'll get more research and more help for these families and for these marriages who are managing the difficulties of mixed neurological communication.